Hello and welcome. Good evening. This is QTV News. I am Amudu Gajaga and thanks for joining us. We are coming to you live from our studios at Caraba Avenue. Here are the main local, international and headlines of the stories that we have for you tonight. Last year, the mayoress of Banjul set a target of 100,000 face masks for national distribution. Today, she received a donation of double that amount. ECOWAS commissioners met the Vice President at State House to brief her about the biannual meeting on hydrament and disaster risk reduction strategies for West Africa. The governor of North Bank region has received and presided over the distribution of sugar from President Barrow meant for Ramadan. A major road at Sincho Alaji connecting several areas is undergoing rehabilitation following a community initiative. And in international news, we have a roundup of stories from across Africa, including Idriss Déby, president of Chad, has been killed at a war front a day after confirmation of his sixth electoral victory. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thanks for joining us. This is QTV News. 200,000 face masks were on Tuesday presented to the Banjul City Council by the United Nations for South-South Cooperation as part of efforts to combat the spread of COVID-19. Abibatu Sise tells us more.
In August last year, the mayoress of Banjul, Rohi Malik Low, launched a 100,000 face masks initiative. The face masks were to be distributed across the country to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. At the time, Mayoress Low said she had received 34,000 face masks and was expecting more pledges to meet her target. A donation of 200,000 face masks by the United Nations for South-South Cooperation has seen her not only exceed but double her target. At the presentation, Mayoress Low says she is delighted for the support and explains the important role of the United Nations for South-South Cooperation in fighting COVID-19. She also uses the opportunity to reiterate the importance of face masks as the coronavirus is still in existence.
It seems like people are forgetting that the COVID-19 is still here and is still deadly. Your mask helps protect those around you. Masks are a simple barrier to help prevent your respiratory droplets from reaching others. Studies show that masks reduce the spread of droplets when worn over the nose and mouth.
Mayoress Low added that these face masks will be distributed to marketplaces, hospitals, prisons, and local communities across the country. Handing over the face masks, as Saturday, the UNDP representative commends the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation for their timely intervention. She says even though there is a vaccine rollout, the use of face masks should not be neglected. She highlighted the efforts by the UNDP to combat COVID-19.
UNDP has a mandate regarding the socio-economic response to the pandemic, and has been very closely working with the other UN agencies to do the assessment on the impact, the socio-economic impact, and to roll out many actions. We've seen what we have done on Deban, which has now become a reference in terms of health facility. We didn't do it alone. We did it with the World Bank, with WHO, with UNOPS, and it's also to say that everything that we are doing in this pandemic is an investment to strengthen the health system, because without health we cannot stand here.
The CEO of Banjul City Council, Mustafa Bachili, highlights the important role of women in the fight against COVID-19, citing examples from other countries.
We have to accept the fact that women are definitely at the forefront of fighting the pandemic. It starts from New Zealand. We are told that the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who's a female, really did very well in terms of combating the pandemic. We've also seen Germany with Angela Merkel. We've also now seen in our midst these two battle-hardened ladies who are doing everything in terms of making it a reality.
Aissatou Njie, the coordinator of Rafael Gambia chapter, a network of locally elected women representatives in different areas, thanked the donor for their continuous support, assuring them that the face masks will be put to good use. As the world experienced the second deadly wave, and health experts have advised people to adhere to the preventive measures, these face masks will go a long way towards helping prevent the spread of the coronavirus. For QTV News, I am Abibatu Sise.
ECOWAS commissioners on Monday met the Vice President at State House to brief her about the biannual meeting on hydrament and disaster risk reduction strategies for West Africa. Ansumana Isonyasi was there and he now reports.
Accompanied by the Minister of Fisheries, officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the ECOWAS country representative, the ECOWAS commissioners say the courtesy call on the Vice President demonstrates the importance of the upcoming meeting to be hosted by the Gambia relating to development strategies on energy and disaster risk reduction for member states. Dr. Siga Fatima Jany, Commissioner for Social Affairs and Gender at the ECOWAS Commission, explains the importance of the upcoming forum.
It is an extremely important meeting, and Gambia is an important country when you're talking about issues of hydromet, looking at just our physical position in the Atlantic Ocean surrounded by Senegal, with most of the country being bodies of water. Is very important to work on risk reduction and to also to work on making sure that we are able to predict floods before they come, that we are able to predict fires and other natural disasters before they strike.
Sekou Sangare, Commissioner Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, says the meeting will help the Commission understand Gambia's energy needs, adding that it presents an opportunity to see a new environmental conservation and farming methodologies that will help improve livelihoods in the region.
We brief Excellency the Vice President concerning the international conference on the storage we'll head in Accra from the 20th April to 10 May.
The meeting is an initiative to create a platform to strengthen and support the meteorological, hydrological and disaster management services to contribute to the initiatives and programs in the region. The ultimate aim is to improve adaptation to climate change and build the resilience of key economic and social sectors to enhance ECOWAS's hydromet proceedings. Ansman Esonyasi for QTV News.
The governor of North Bank region has received and presided over the distribution of sugar from President Barrow meant for Ramadan. More in this report again.
The 700 bags of sugar were distributed to the needy to ease some of their constraints during the holy month of Ramadan. The governor of the North Bank region, Lamin Sedikan, expressed delight while thanking the president for the water gesture.
Thank you very much, QTV. I'm very pleased to welcome you in the region. First of all, I have to acknowledge the presence of all the chiefs here, the chairman of the region, and all the lady councillors and the executive committee here present. The sugar behind me is been given to the region by His Excellency Adama Barrow. We are very grateful. He is trying for the people. He's making sure that people are happy. We know that we are in the COVID and things are not very easy for a lot of families, not only one region but around the country. So we are very pleased today to receive this consignment.
The governor further explains the distribution process.
This is not the first time they are doing it. They did it last year and then they are doing it this year. So we thought it's going to be very, very effective and there will be no mismanagement in distribution of this sugar.
Keba Efonjai, the public relations officer of the North Bank region, also warmly welcomed the donation.
His Excellency President.
We thank everyone and President Adama Barrow who presented this sugar, not to the NPP, but to the whole Gambia.
Alaji Jany, the chief of Central Baribu, expressed gratitude for his region receiving the much needed sugar.
I would like to thank the president. We got this sugar last year and we are receiving it again this year by the grace of God. The sugar will not be enough for everyone, but it is an honor and no one will be denied. All those who deserve it will get their share.
Councillor Ajigas Njai and the women's mobilizer Bintu Sise all expressed appreciation to the president on behalf of the people of NBR. Those 700 bags will not be enough for all those in need in the North Bank region. The governor said priority will be given to those most in need. Ansumana Esonyasi for QTV News.
From that report by Ansumana Esonyasi, we will take a short commercial break. But still to come, we have local and international news stories for you.
QCell's Q Prayer and Q Ramadan service reminds you of your 5 daily prayer times and the start and end times for your fast. Simply send prayer to 331 to be reminded of the 5 daily prayer times. Send Ramadan or fast to 332 to be notified of the start and iftar time of fasting on a daily basis. QCell wishes you all a blessed Ramadan. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News. A major road at Sinthiou Alhaji connecting several areas is undergoing rehabilitation following a community initiative, which, once completed, will greatly ease accessibility. Loli M. Kamara has more on this story.
The main objective of the Sinthiou Alhaji Road Rehabilitation Project is to mitigate some of the challenges the community face going about their daily business and to also bring development to the ward. The road is significant as it links many communities within the area. This development has also come at a time the community needs it the most. According to the Ward Councillor Fatou Jallow, the project is a community initiative which is supported by the Brikama Area Council, which is providing construction equipment and fueling. She adds that it took them a lot of hard work to have reached this far.
When I came here newly, we find it very difficult to move, to go up and down. So we sit and say that we cannot wait for the government. The government want to do it, but they cannot do it all. But what should we do as citizens? So we form a group, we go around to ask for money so that we can do something on this road.
Sitang Futa Company, who are implementing the project for a timely intervention. Lamin Singate, BAS Public Relations Officer, says that as an institution, Brikama Area Council sees it as part of its mandate to bring developmental projects to its citizens, among which is providing good road networks. He also outlined the cost of the project.
In monetary time, is huge amount of money we are investing in, we are putting in this project, because the heavy equipment alone, the machinery that is doing the same time spreading the gravel and the same time compacting it is costing us $30,000 per day. And as you can see, we don't know for how long it's going to take the machine to complete the job.
Pa Musa Job of the Village Development Committee expressed his appreciation to all those who have contributed to making the project a success.
10 years I can see we have been struggling for this route, but still. So then if we have them here to come and level the gravel that is parked here, I think it's highly welcome. And we are saying a big thank you to the council.
Mohamed Jawara, a community member, and Usainu Kujabi, they both call on the government to complement their efforts.
We still need help. As you can see, the gravel won't be enough, and this road is really important because it connects so many areas. If you want to go to school, you use this route. The same to go to the market and also the hospital. So let the government support us. This road is so important but difficult to use in its current state. Sometimes we have a sick person, but to take him to the hospital is our biggest challenge. So we are calling on the president to assist us even further in making a tar road.
Once completed, the road will greatly increase the movement of people and goods and also ease congestion. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
From that report by Lori M. Camara, now to international news. Chad's long-serving president Idriss Déby has died from injuries sustained in clashes with rebels, and an army spokesperson told State TV on Tuesday. Babakar Sise has the details.
Déby's campaign said on Monday that he was headed to the front lines to join troops battling terrorists. The army on the same day claimed a great victory in its battle against the rebels from neighboring Libya, saying it had killed 300 fighters with the loss of 5 soldiers in its own ranks during 8 days of combat. The rebels, whom the army claimed to have defeated in the fighting, have said in a statement that Mr. Déby had been wounded. In a statement read out on state television, Army spokesperson General Aguna said Déby, 68, has just breathed his last defending the sovereign nation on the battlefield. His death comes just a day after Déby was declared the winner of a 6th term in office as president. Provisional election results on Monday showed he took 79.3% of the votes from the April 11 election after top opposition leaders boycotted to protest his efforts to extend his 30 years in power. Rebels based across the northern frontier in Libya attacked a border post on election day and then advanced hundreds of kilometers south across the desert. The army said a military council led by the late president's 38-year-old son, Mohammed Idriss Déby Itno, a 4-star general, would serve as president of the Transitional Council. The army declared a 14-day period of national mourning and imposed an overnight curfew. Air borders would close until further notice. Babakar Sise, QTV News.
And now to Cape Verde. Cape Verdeans have put their trust in outgoing Prime Minister by granting an absolute majority to his centre-right party in Sunday's legislative election. Here in this report by Anzumane Sonyasi, that's where the details are.
Outgoing Prime Minister Ulysses Correa S. Silva's party, the Movement for Democracy, won 36 of the 72 seats in the National Assembly, according to the results of the National Electoral Commission, which covered almost 98.2% of the polling stations. In power since 2016, the 58-year-old head of government, a former senior executive of the Bank of Cape Verde, an ex-minister and an ex-mayor of the capital Praia, claimed his victory before the official press release was issued, and he and his supporters celebrated in front of his party headquarters and in throughout the city. The party, which had 40 elected members in the outgoing assembly, can expect to win at least 37 deputies, giving them an absolute majority when the results of the last 3 diaspora seats still to be counted are known. The Movement for Democracy is ahead of Janira Hofma Almeida's PAICV, the Socialist Party co-founded by Amilcar Cabral, which led the country's independence struggle and which has 29 seats, the same as in the 2016 election. Hofma Almeida, the prime ministerial candidate of the former ruling party, who is a 42-year-old former minister, thus loses her bid to bring the historic left-wing party back to power and become the first woman to head the government of the former Portuguese colony. In front of her supporters, she immediately considered defeat and announced her resignation as head of her party, of which she had become the first woman to assume the presidency in 2014. Far behind the two major parties, the Independent and Democratic Cape Verdean Union, USGID, a Christian Democratic Party, won 4 seats. 3 other small parties did not secure enough votes to elect any MPs. 2 of the 72 seats reserved for the diaspora remained to be filled on Monday. Cape Verde has a semi-parliamentary system where the Prime Minister heads the executive, with the President Jorge Carlos Fonseca of the Movement for Democracy, the country's 4th president since independence, acting as an arbitrator. The country regularly ranks as the 1st or 2nd most stable democracy in Africa. For QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's have a quick look at our main news stories. Last year, the mayors of Banjul set a target of 100,000 face masks for national distribution, but today she received a donation double that amount. ECOWAS commissioners met the Vice President at State House to brief her about the biannual meeting on Hydromet and disaster risk reduction strategies for West Africa. The governor of North Bank region has received and presided over the distribution of sugar from President Barrow meant for Ramadan. A major road that is accessing or trying to connect several areas are undergoing rehabilitation following a community initiative in Sinthiou Alhaji. In international news, we had a roundup of stories from across Africa, including confirmation that Idriss Déby, the president of Chad, has been killed at the war front a day after confirmation of his 6th re-election victory. That's all we have for you in this news bulletin, and thank you very much for watching.